Hey guys, Michael Rashawn back with you again. Missed out last week. I was actually out with COVID, as life would have it. That was a curveball I wasn't expecting, so I was down for about 10 days there, but I am back in the saddle now and wanted to bring you our regularly scheduled Friday video. So, talking today about personal performance skills again, and wanted to talk a little more about the persistent consistency and just give you a real life example of something that I have been dealing with as I've attempted to reach one of my mid range goals of owning an Airbnb in Tennessee here. As you may or may not know, my wife and I are in the process of purchasing a home in Tennessee that we're going to use as a vacation rental, both for ourselves and as an investment vehicle to rent out for the times that we're not in it. So that was our personal mid-range goal, is to own an Airbnb, and we started that probably about 4 months ago. Been thinking about it for a long time. Actively started researching and talking to people about 4 months or so ago. So we are at a point in our journey now where we're actually ready to purchase, and we are just waiting for the right house to come along, and then we're going to do that. So we got all our financing squared away, got the pre-approval process set up. We did all the research, did everything due diligence, and now we are ready to go. So some of the steps that we took along the way over the last 4 months, and this is where the persistent consistency comes in, because there was a lot of hurry up and wait along this. And there's a lot of small steps that we had to take on our way to getting that final pre-approval and getting ultimately that new property signed for. So the first thing we had to do was decided, is this something we really want to do? So we had to learn the ins and outs of short-term rental, and that, as you can imagine, with Airbnb and VRBO and stuff, everything is very technologically based. So that's good, that's bad, because it's good in the sense that you have a lot more tools at your disposal now than you would have had, say, maybe 8 or 10 years ago. And that has opened up this whole other realm of possibility where we can basically manage a property from 2,000 miles away, and it's not going to be a huge deal. Part of that has been everything from finding pricing tools to tapping into an existing network of cleaners and handymen and real estate agents and everything else. So one of our first goals was just to learn the ins and outs of short-term rental. Once we did that, we to do our down payment, we're going to take a home equity line of credit out on our current primary residence. So being that we didn't have the cash available for a down payment, that was kind of our workaround. We had done a lot of work to our home and wanted to tap into that equity. So we finalized that. That's done. We have our down payment. Next step was to find a lender in Tennessee. So just to give you guys an idea, between learning the ins and outs of the short-term rental and actually finalizing our home loan, took about 4 months. So the home equity line of credit was much, much slower than anticipated. As you can imagine, being in real estate, I do a lot with lenders, and I'm typically used to a 30 to 45 day close. With the home equity loan, it being a small credit union that we went through, it took nearly 4 months from start to finish for that process. So while we were working on the home equity line of credit, we did find a lender and found an agent both in Tennessee. I did tap into my referral network to find an agent in Tennessee, and they were subsequently able to connect me with the trusted lender there. One of the last things we had to do was get pre approved for a second home loan. So we have our primary residence, we have a home equity line of credit on that, and then we're now applying for and have been approved for a secondary mortgage that we're going to use as a second home loan. So it's a little bit lower of a down payment, 10% as opposed to the traditional 15 or 20%. And it will still allow us to use the property part of the year and then rent it out when we're not going to be in it. So those steps have been taken over the last 4 months, and we're now at the partner journey where we are going to be actively looking for properties. We've already started that process as well, just waiting for the right one to come along. But each one of these steps took a lot of time and a lot of energy. Some of these took a lot of time, some of them took a lot of energy. But in the end, we stayed persistent and we were consistent with our goal. And we hope to have a property signed for and rented out by end of October. That is our goal. So we are on track for that. There's been a few bumps along the way, but nothing that's going to derail us. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because I do talk a lot about persistent consistency and we talk a lot about goals. And this is just an example of one that we have taken many small steps towards and one that is finally coming to fruition. So that just goes to show you guys that I do practice what I preach, and it is not something that happened overnight. It's not something that happened with very little effort. It was actually a lot of time and a lot of effort to get to this point. But nothing good in life comes easy, and I truly believe that this has the potential to change the course of our family's trajectory, both financially and for the future of our kids. So I would encourage you that if you are working on a short-term goal, especially with this resurgence of COVID and the Delta variant and everything else, I can speak from experience because I just got COVID. It is not fun. But again, short of ending up in the hospital or in the ICU, like it too will pass. And you got to keep pushing through, keep persevering, and keep that persistent consistency. And in the end, guys, you will succeed. You only fail when you quit. And I know if you're watching this video, then you're not a quitter. So keep going, stay strong, stay motivated, and be sure and like and subscribe. And of course, come back next weekend because I am back to health and I will be here again with some better content next Friday.